No, I know it. It's true. But it's election season, so, and we live in this center of technology. So how is technology changing the way we vote? Well, there's a very interesting website that has my attention right now. It's called winmyvote.com. And joining me on the phone right now is co-founder Jim Gillis. Jim, welcome to the show.
All right, great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Jim, so here's the deal. I mean, there are a lot of websites. I mean, there's Ballotpedia. There's the Secretary of State has a website. Tell me what it is about Win My Vote, why you created this, and what you're doing differently than what else is out there right now.
So I would say that the main difference is that the candidates themselves build their profiles, and then they apply to the race that they're running in. So if you were, if you always wanted to run for mayor of San Francisco, you could do it really easily on Win My Vote. You could create a profile, go up, sign up, say I want to run for mayor, and then start campaigning through that website and reach out to your friends and say, hey, listen to what I have to say, and you can compare me to the other candidates, and if you like me, favorite me, and that's it. And the candidate doesn't need to go out and raise $50,000 or do TV shows or anything like that. They can just go right directly to the voter. And that, from what I've seen, it's the only thing like that.
And when you say go directly to the voter, you're talking about things like what, like YouTube videos, and or what are you talking about in terms of getting my message out, or am I just writing articles, or how does that look?
No, it would be direct. It would be a direct video, and you could use text or images or anything that you want to communicate, but it lends itself perfectly to video. So, for example, the videos that you've done for the propositions, those are perfect because I can click on it, I can learn a little bit about you, your perspective, and your recommendation. And then I can listen to the other side, and I can kind of compare a couple of data points, and then I can pick my favorite.
So how does this relate to me as a voter then? So let's say I live in the Haight or something, and I want to see what's on my ballot and where people stand on the issues. How does your website help me actually cast my vote?
Yeah, so what we call it is sort of the A to Y, right? You can do everything on the site. You go up, it's free, you type your zip code in, and it will put you in a voting district, and then we have resources to make sure you get in the right one. And then from that, we can give you your ballot from the national race, the president's race, down to the state races where it's senator and governor, state executive offices, and then down through the congressional districts and then into the county and city, and then even down to school board and local city councils. And, with that, you can then go through and quickly see all the people that are running for city council. You can give them a couple of minutes each and then pick your favorite. And then from there, we have resources on the site where you can find your polling place. We give you a little map of your polling place and the hours, and you can then walk down the street with your cell phone and access your ballot that you've already filled out and go ahead and cast your vote.
Well, wait. That, I think, is maybe the key here, your ballot. So from your site, when I've done all this research and I've kind of clicked through and I go, well, maybe I like Proposition 58, maybe I don't like Proposition 57. I'm marking these things in my ballot on winmyvote.com. I'm able to print off all these things that I kind of sorted through and bring it with me to my polling place?
Yeah, you can not only print it out, but you can also just access it with your cell phone. And right now, here in San Francisco, the statistics are something like 70 to 80%, of the people will be accessing political information from their cell phone. So I'm sure you've seen the California ballot. There's 17 propositions and 26 measures here in San Francisco. There's no possible way, everyone's going to remember, all that stuff. So you can go through and fill it all out first, and then, again, on your way to the polling place, or you can print it out at your home, and then when you're in there, you can just sort of take dictation.
Now, what about somebody who says, I just want to find out what Ethan has said about all these propositions? Is there a way to say, well, he said yes on this one, no on that one. I want just that proposition list. Is there a way to see that? Yeah, there is. So we have a feature called Groups, and that is groups and organizations and clubs and leagues and even individuals sign up, create a group page,
They'll put all their they'll do all their endorsements and recommendations and positions on all the propositions and measures the same way you would fill out your ballot. And then users can select these groups as trusted sources. So I would go through and I maybe would select the San Francisco Chronicle, and I maybe would select the League of Women Voters and, Ethan Bearman. And that way on my ballot, right next to the propositions or right next to the candidates, I can quickly see, if my groups have endorsed this candidate or this proposition. And I can click on that and see if they've done a written endorsement or a video endorsement, so I can sort of hear firsthand, what they think about it.
Well, that sounds exceptionally useful, Jim, and it's winmyvote.com. Because I have a lot of conversations with people like, well, how do I organize this? And I even think that to myself, because to your point, San Francisco has, I'm just going to call it a bajillion local measures, plus the statewide initiatives, plus all the people running for office. Nobody can keep track of that. So this is a singular place to organize this information, hear from the different parties who want to share their opinion or influence your vote one way or the other. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Jim, while I have you, this is not new. You actually have a political science degree from San Jose State, and you have the tech background. So this is what, kind of a culmination of a variety of life loves to build Win My Vote?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So when I graduated with political science economics out of San Jose State, I was going to go into teaching. And then I had a roommate that, at the time, Lucent was spinning off of AT&T. So I ran into this guy, and they were paying about 3 times as much as teaching. And all of a sudden, I got into high tech. And this was the time when the .com was booming. So I got into that. And then I got into tech support for software. And part of that, we were a small startup in San Mateo, competing against really big call centers. So we had to figure out, the cheapest way to get support to these software people, and that was using, videos and leveraging technology. So when I started looking at Win My Vote, I thought of it the same way, is that here a voter is somebody with a problem. They need to find some answers. They want to find, when the election is, what races are on the ballot, who's running, and that's when I started building it. I started building it like a tech support site, so that you could just go up and quickly find the information, that you needed. So it was kind of, coming full circle.
I love it. By the way, I actually really like winmyvote.com. It is a great way to help organize, because like I said, the ballot this year in particular is so overwhelming. Like you said, there's just no way to keep all that organized when you're walking into the voting booth. So winmyvote.com. Jim Gillis, thank you for your time today and explaining how your site is working.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Jim. Thanks for your time. All right, coming up next, it is lunchtime. So we're going to talk some food and some health. I have some new information that might help you recover